August 31st, 1944. A dragon was breathing fire across France, and then it stopped. Not by enemy fire, not by a fortress, but by a hose. One general's rage, one mayor's terrified refusal, and a battle that would decide if a city of golden gates would survive or burn to ashes. This is the story of the siege that never happened, the refusal that changed everything, and the day Patton proved that no was just another word for find another way. General George Patton was unstoppable. He had shattered the German lines in Normandy, 400 miles in 30 days. Paris liberated. His Third Army was a metal beast racing toward the Rhine River. Victory was so close he could taste it. And then, silence. His tanks stopped. Not because the enemy stopped them, but because Supreme Commander Eisenhower made a choice. A fateful, devastating choice. He diverted the precious gasoline north to Field Marshal Montgomery for a risky gamble, called Operation Market Garden. Patton's dragon went dry. The most powerful armored division in the world, sitting motionless on French roadsides in the Verdun sector. Engines silent, crews waiting, and Patton, apoplectic with rage. He screamed at General Omar Bradley, "Damn it, Brad! Just give me 400,000 gallons of gasoline and I'll be inside Germany in 2 days." The answer was no. For 5 agonizing days, Patton sat still. 5 days. And while America's greatest general fumed and paced, the Germans did something terrifying. They regrouped. The chaotic retreat stopped. They dug in. They reinforced. And right in front of Patton's frozen army, the ancient city of Nancy transformed from an open door into a fortress. When the gasoline finally arrived in early September, everything had changed. The easy war was over. The race was finished. The Battle of Lorraine was about to begin. A desperate plea from a French mayor who didn't want his city to become a graveyard. A polite, terrified refusal that would force Patton to make an impossible choice. Would he listen to mercy, or would he unleash hell? Nancy, the jewel of Lorraine, a city of golden Baroque gates, medieval squares, and centuries of art. Beautiful, historic, irreplaceable, and geographically a nightmare for any attacker. To the west, the Moselle River coiled like a protective serpent and natural moat. To the east, high ridges called the Grand Couronne stood like ancient guardians. This wasn't just a city. It was a natural fortress. German General Johann Blaskowitz saw the opportunity immediately. If he could hold Nancy, he could stop Patton. He poured reinforcements into the city. The 3rd and 5th 10th Panzer Grenadier Divisions. Elite troops. Mined every bridge. Artillery locked onto every crossroad. Machine gun nests in every window. Inside the city, the French civilians were paralyzed with fear. They had heard the stories. Patton. Old blood and guts. The general who didn't stop for anything. The mayor and the regional prefect knew what was coming. They could hear it in the distant rumble of tanks. So they did something desperate. They sent a secret courier through enemy lines. The message arrived at 12th Corps headquarters, commanded by Major General Mantonetti. When Eddie read it, his face went pale. The message was simple, desperate, heart-wrenching. We are an unprotected city. We have no military value. If you attack us, the Germans will destroy everything. Our bridges, our cathedral, our history. Please, General, bypass us. Do not enter Nancy. General Eddie brought the letter to Patton. Eddie was a cautious man, a humane man. He suggested they listen. Avoid civilian casualties. Find another route. Patton looked at the map. He looked at Eddie, and he pointed his riding crop directly at Nancy's heart. I don't care about their history. Patton growled. I care about the river. Those bridges are the only way my tanks go east. His eyes were cold steel. Tell the mayor I'm coming, and tell him to keep his head down. Patton ignored the mayor's plea, but he wasn't reckless. A frontal assault on Nancy would be suicide, so he ordered a flanking maneuver. Surgical, it was supposed to be a surprise. It became a massacre. September 5th, under cover of darkness, American infantry slipped their rubber boats into the black water. Oars cut silently through the current. The hills exploded. Machine gun fire shredded the rafts. Mortar turned the Moselle crimson. Screams echoed across the water. Boats floated downstream. The 80th Division was thrown back with devastating casualties. Patton drove to the front. He saw the carnage, the broken men, the fear in his commander's eyes. General Eddie suggested they pause. Wait a week. Bring in more artillery. Regroup. This was the moment that defined everything. Patton grabbed. His voice was a barely controlled roar. I don't want to hear about what you can't do. Reva, if you don't, the Germans will turn this entire valley into a graveyard. If the front door was locked, he would smash through a window. The Americans searched desperately, and they found it. A weak spot. German defenses were thin. September 11th. A heavy rainstorm provided cover. No artillery. No shouting. Just rain and oars and held breath. They moved like ghosts. A German sentry called out into the darkness. An American sergeant's knife found him first. Silence again. They were across. Now began the most dangerous race of the entire campaign. Before reinforcements arrived, before the window slammed shut, the engineers worked like demons. Dawn, September 12th. A treadway bridge materialized across the Moselle in hours, and then came the thunder. Sherman tanks of the 4th Armored Division began rolling across. Patton's favorite division, led by Lieutenant Colonel Creighton Abrams. A tank commander who believed in one simple philosophy. If you stop, you die. If you move, the enemy panics. Patton's order was brutally simple. Bypass Nancy. Circle behind it. Cut off their retreat. Don't stop for anything. Abrams unleashed hell. His tank column tore through the French countryside behind German lines at terrifying speed. They drove so fast, they ran off their own maps. They were capturing German supply trucks, still heading toward the front. Drivers, shocked to see American tanks in their rear. Inside Nancy, the German commander felt the noose tightening. The Americans weren't attacking the gates. They were behind him. The pincers were closing. 80th Division from the north. 35th Division from the south. The mayor's refusal had accidentally forced Patton into a perfect encirclement. The entire German garrison was trapped. But Hitler wasn't finished. From his bunker, he ordered a massive counterattack. The 5th Panzer Army. Brand new Panther tanks. The best armored Germany had. Their mission, crush Patton's bridgehead. September 18th, near the town of Ericourt, the German Panthers emerged from the fog. They outnumbered the Americans. Bigger guns, thicker armor. This should have been a slaughter, but the Americans had better radios. Fog that negated the Panthers' range advantage and superior crews. For 4 brutal days, the Battle of Ericourt raged. The largest tank battle on the Western Front involving U.S. forces, The Americans used the fog like assassins, flanking the Panthers, shooting their vulnerable rear engines. By September 21st, the 5th Panzer Army was destroyed. The path to Nancy was secure. And inside the city, the German commander made a choice that would save thousands of lives. The Germans slipped away in the night. The bridges survived. When Patton's troops walked into Nancy, the cafes were open. The cathedral stood untouched. The golden gates gleamed in the sunlight. The mayor, expecting fury. By refusing entry, the mayor had forced Patton to encircle the city. They had accidentally created a masterpiece. The city survived. The German army was trapped. History was made. Patton proved something that day. A refusal isn't a stop sign. And together, they saved a city. What would you have done? Comment below. And subscribe for more untold stories of World War II.